We just finished watching Suffering Cassandra. Let's give the film another round of applause, please. The film has so much to it, and I really like it a lot. I think that one of the words that I think of when I watch this film is rhythm. Right, it has a rhythm, a certain rhythm to the script. Is Aaron Sorkin-esque, like quick, quick, quick. Even the way that the camera moves, things like that. So, I guess Roberto, we'll start with you as writer, director, editor. What was going into your thought process in terms of the screenwriting, and then also, I mean, you obviously wrote it, edited it, and directed it. So how did it all tie together?
Well, Aaron Sorkin-esque, that's a very nice compliment. So thank you for that. Yeah, I think actually it's funny you mentioned that because I think at the time when I was writing the script, I was probably watching a lot of Aaron Sorkin, tied in with like a lot of Kevin Smith and a lot of like Woody Allen, sort of, all those guys that have I don't want to say a similar style, but that quick dialogue kind of style. So I think it was a fusion of just overexposure of that kind of content, and then just really, I was going through a very like pensive time, right? I've said this before in other places. I was reading all like Hemingway and like all these things and big ideas of the world, and I think I was just trying to synthesize that into a script with this like stylistic sort of form behind it, being that quick dialogue kind of thing. And yeah, that's this is the end product, I guess. Yeah.
Sweet. Well, I think it really definitely came together well. One of the things I also noticed, and I don't know if this is even on purpose, this could possibly be like my film geekiness, but like especially in the beginning, it was like everyone has this rhythm, like this really fast dialogue, but Cassandra like just like all of a sudden halts it, like she's like Cassandra, and I don't know if this is on purpose, but like once she first takes that first little drink, then all of a sudden like she can go just as fast as everybody else. Was that on purpose or no?
I think, yeah, and I think in some ways it was scripted that way.
Yeah.
I mean, I think she was at first meant to be sort of like definitely an outsider in a very inside sort of friendship, And honestly, Haley, when we found her, she was, I saw her and I was like, she reminds me of the people that I might have written this about, may have or
That
may
I
not
may or
have.
may not have.
Not necessarily in personality, but maybe just in like just sort of the way, that she speaks and stuff. And I just knew that she would nail it. And I don't know if you guys have any more fun things to say about Haley, but
Goodness. Well, that no, you nailed it. But that was kind of what we were trying to show when we first sit down for margaritas and talking about politics, and it's just this banter, and then she stops that in its tracks and just kind of takes it from there. So I think it was written into the script, but she just kind of honed in on that, and she's awesome. So she made it easy.
Yeah, and I think the sort of the whole purpose of a driving scene like that is to sort of show how much of an outsider she is within this like obviously very close group of friends that can just speak pretentiously about anything, and she finds it all pretentious, obviously, and I don't know, yeah. Well, we're very pretentious, obviously.
Maybe just you.
I agree.
Awesome. Would it be redundant to say I agree? So, we have Sheen and Heather on hand. I definitely think that you guys just did a great job in regards to acting. Like, I really felt like you guys have been friends for a long time. You got these high school, like, stories that maybe you told yourselves. It just felt so real and realistic. So what was it like getting into character?
Well, it was actually kind of difficult because it was mainly like the dialogue was like I had never read or had to read dialogue like that before. So and when I have to talk a lot, I get kind of so and with all those big words and all those just the speed of it was I was reading it like constantly. I stopped everything I was doing and everything I was reading at home and just like I have to read this script because I cannot be because like I said, I was kind of like the Cassandra like off screen. Like I was the person who was like halting the things and like how do I how do I say this? Yeah, maybe could I
Dictionary on hand.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, can I replace this particular word because I don't really know what it means, but or how to pronounce it, but other than that, you read the script with a bottle of wine and it tends to help. No.
Well, and one last thing on Sheen. I mean, he's obviously a Spanish speaker in the context of the story, but in the context of real life, he's not. So I gave him. So I mean, he speaks a little bit, but basically, I gave him the script where he had to sound like a very particular sort of Spanish speaker. And bravo to him for actually, not just picking up big American words or big Spanish words as well, and like portraying it, believably. So, anyways.
2 days to be Spanish.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it was.
Nice.
Oh, well,
Character.
I agree. It wasn't hard because we have known each other for like 10 years
We
or
have,
something
not us
crazy.
and
I
Sheen.
don't know.
Sheen
I made
wasn't
that up.
in
Yeah, Sheen and Haley, we actually auditioned to be a part of this cast, and they were just like, we were blessed with their presence. You're welcome. And it took like 2 seconds for us to know that these are the remaining two to the foursome, and it just happened to work out. Shut up. That's not what I meant. Can you cut that out? So it was very easy. I mean, it's just a fun group of people. And when you spend 12 straight days together from 8 a.m. to like 3 a.m., you're gonna have a good rapport, and it's gonna be easy to kind of build off each other. There's just no other way to do it. It was a long time.
And I think, just lastly in terms of character preparation, like, yeah, I mean, at least the Eddie and Helen character, my character and Heather's character were sort of not necessarily, okay, yes, in a lot of ways based off real life, you know what I mean? Just of our actual friendship and sort of like our actual, So yeah, that's, I guess, character-wise, it wasn't very hard to get into character, was it? Because we kind of were just like
No.
living it,
My
But
house isn't that big though.
yeah, and she's not,
Is that your actual house?
No.
Oh, okay.
and not to speak for you, but I don't think she's a Republican either. Not that that matters, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, we're obviously here at the Reel Independent Film Extravaganza, and talk a little bit about actually getting this movie made, because I know you guys crowdfunded for a bit, and then I think you guys said you shot for like 12 days straight in the house. Just talk a little bit about making the film and what that process was like for any independent filmmaker out there just trying to make a film, because I think it came out great.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I was actually the secret director of this film. No. But no, like, obviously I'd made films before. I'd directed and acted in things before, but, 12 straight days, that's like the amount of time I usually spend editing after I shoot for like 6 hours, And, but yeah, like Heather said, it was, like, what was it, 13 hours? One day we just all stayed there.
Yeah.
We all just like stayed in the house, and yeah, that was interesting. But it kind of gives you a little bit of inspiration. It definitely inspired me, because we get to spend so much time in this house. Walk around in it and really get the feel of the set, because the set is real. And again, being with all these people for all this time in a row, yeah, it's inspiring. It really is. And it just kind of helps things go along a little easier. I think the first thing we shot ever was our scene in that little closet thing. Yeah.
Which wasn't,
The break room scene.
Yeah.
When we had never really met before.
Yeah, that was the first time, and yeah, that took like all day. But after that, we kind of really got into the swing of things with the long takes and the style of everything. So it definitely helped.
Yeah, so as far as the actual production went, we did Kickstarter it right off the get-go, and I think it was like November of 2012 where I just gave her the script, and I was like, hey, we should do this, because I think, funny enough, at the time we were like, we had these big aspirations of like moving to LA or something, but we're like, we can't move to, classic, right? But we're like, we can't move to LA unless like we make a film first, right? So, I think we all sort of gathered, we Kickstarted the money, and honestly, it wasn't that much money. Like, we really pooled resources like crazy, and for all indie filmmakers, like, it is possible to make like a decent looking 80-minute feature film on like no money. It's gonna suck because you don't pay people, which is unfortunate, and honestly that's what our goal is to get to at some point. But I think the best part about it all was that a lot of people did give their time, like blood and tears, to make this thing happen, and collectively I think we're all pretty proud of what we did. So yeah, it's 13 days of production over three different houses. 3 different houses. So that wasn't all one house. That was actually the upper half of one house, the basement of an identical house. So we were very fortunate with the houses that we found, and then a pool in a totally different place. So yeah.
Yes.
She agrees.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, you kind of just said it all, pretty much. I mean, the production was so much fun. It happened that everyone we needed, the crew and the cast, had spring break during that time. And so, we all just took off work for that couple of days, for that week and a half or whatever, and just got together and banged it out. And it just, what? Do you want this back?
It didn't just happen. That's
Okay.
that's shrewd producing, ladies and gentlemen.
But you know what I mean. Like, whatever. Don't give me this then. And I don't know. Was I there? I don't know. But yeah, blood, sweat, and tears. You're right. And bruises. It was a lot of bruises. Shockingly. But
Talk about some of
the cat fight. Girlfriend beat the heck out of me. No, it was okay. You know when she knocks me into the little podium thing, it was too hard. And I'm like crying, and I'm like, no, this is great. The tears are real.
Like, fuel it.
Just
fuel it,
keep
fuel it.
filming. Oh God, I'm not crying because I'm upset. I'm like bruised and broken. And also, I mean, we may or may not have indulged in some alcoholic beverages just to keep us going. But that's just because we had it and we had to film a party scene anyway, so might as well method act.
Yeah.
And that's all.
Yeah,
That's all I remember.
it was more of the situation in which, you know, I'm here trying to direct the scene and trying to be as professional as I can be, right? So it's like, all right, ready and action. She hands me what I think is a shot of water, and this happened. The best thing is that this happened multiple times, and I kept being like, Heather, please next time pour me water as opposed to tequila. But there we are, and I'm just like, ooh. And like those burps are real because like it's real tequila. She just keeps giving me over and over. So like honestly, I think there's like an outtake that by like the 4th take we start dancing and I like it's like cut and I just like fall to the floor and I'm like, well you've done this to me, like, you know.
It is over.
Right. All right, 2 more questions, and then we can open it out to the audience. One, I think the lighting was just awesome. It looked like it was just basic lighting, natural lighting. Who lit for you guys? And
Our boy Daniel Afsha, who couldn't be here today, he's a pretty amazing DP that we also almost took a chance on because I'd never worked with him, you know, but I'd seen what he'd done and yeah.
Beautiful lighting that took 4 hours.
Yeah, so actually, to be fair, it was as natural as we could make it, and luckily the house that we were filming in had these wonderful windows that just let a lot of light in, you know, but yeah, no, it wasn't as natural as it seems, but Daniel Opcha, plug for him. There it is. And of course, like Charles Coleman, all of our other people that in culmination made this amazing thing happen. Sorry, I gesticulate a lot when I and Victor, we had this is actually a good sort of like little anecdote. So there's a lot of scenes where there's just a perfect accent light on like Heather's face or somebody like that, right? And we created this thing called the Victor light. And Victor is he would just have his like iPhone and turn the flash on and be like hiding in like a crook somewhere, yeah, in like a nook somewhere, just like shining it. Yeah, it was pretty amazing. Yeah.
Nice.
Use your resources.
Exactly. Okay, and last question, just in terms of the culture within the film, right? So the music played such, it's like another character, right? So, you know, I guess maybe Roberto, that would be your question.
Yeah. So I guess there's a twofold answer, right? Because one, we had a score. We had somebody that actually did write a whole music score for it out in Los Angeles, and he was just really cool. And honestly, when I gave him the film, I gave him a cut of the film, and I said, just go with it, man. Like, whatever you feel, just go with it. And he sent me a few different things, and at first it was a little carnival-y, a little, like, weird circusy, but then we, like, toned it down to this just sort of cool, like, acoustic kind of thing, and that really worked. But then, yeah, I am actually, like, Spanish, and, you know, like, it's a big deal for us, like, music, and I just sort of wanted to infuse the film with as much of that as I could, so that's what it is.
Once you started dancing, you know, it was like, it was definitely real.
Oh, wait, give me away here. Yeah.
Let me tell you about the dancing. Okay, you know the close-up shots of his feet? Yeah, that's not him. Okay? Your IMDb trivia right here. His cousin, his Spanish cousin, Dan, we had him like put on his
He's
pants.
also the co-producer of the film.
Also there's a plug. And he put on his shoes and pants and was like, because he's much better than this guy. Clearly, I don't speak Spanish. Anyway, so I just thought I'd give you away with that.
We're clearly very cultured here at Bring Cassandra.
Well, clearly there was a lot of movie magic. You know, it's 4 different houses or 3 different houses. Yeah. And then the dancing, yeah, I think it worked out perfectly. All right, is there any questions that you guys had? And I'll just repeat your question and then.
They're in awe.
Ooh, yeah.
They're still coming down from it. Yeah.
I think I just like stole everyone's questions. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Did you actually beat him up?
Did you actually beat him up?
Metaphorically, definitely. No, I think that was a really tough shot to coordinate because there is this sort of like climactic shot at the end where it is a massive like following me from the basement all the way upstairs, and there is this like I have to hit him with a door and push him. And luckily Haley Jardis again knows how to do stage combat, so she taught us a lot of like tricks. So no, I didn't actually beat him up, but you know there were points that I wanted to.
Why are you giving me that?
Oh, I don't know. I'm at.
I agree.
Ouch. All right. Anybody else? Any other question?
Sorry, what?
Want to talk about that?
So there is a cliffhanger at the end. I don't know. I never really set out to make a movie that like really answered questions as much as just like were things that I felt, I guess, you know. So I didn't have the right answer by the time I got to the end of the script, you know, and it was either like I sit there and I muse on this for a year and never make anything, or I just say, well, that's the end. You know what I mean? And I just know, I think at the time, again, I was just into that style of like leaving ambiguous endings, and I preferred it that way. I think it was more real. So
I think we're being
Yes.
talk to the camera.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Bill, it's all right.
No,
Okay,
yes.
let's go.
Yeah, actually, the original ending was it was weird because that black and white short film that showed in front, that was the original ending. It was like there were Russian missiles. It turned out it was the past, and we were all robots, and everyone was dead at the same time. And it turned out like Cassandra was like the embodiment of the Satan, and it was a pretty awesome ending. Yeah, like we shot it and everything. He just cut everything out. I was really disappointed. I got another nude scene and everything. I was so disappointed.
And this is shame. This is what we have to work with.
All right. So, you know, what is the movie doing now, and where can people get it if they want to get it, or see it if they want to see it?
So, well, the movie currently is at the Reel Independent Film Extravaganza, so that's cool. And then it's actually, I don't know when this will make it to the web, but on Monday, October 13th, we're screening at the Kansas International Film Festival.
You guys want to come to Kansas?
So definitely make it after that. Which is a really cool place to screen. And you know, we're still waiting to hear from a lot of film festivals. We're still early in our festival, like you know, sort of like route, if you can call that. And then we're looking for distribution. So if anybody out there in the world wants to put us on Netflix or something, we'd love to do that. So yeah.
Yeah, I think this is a Netflix. Not like it couldn't be bigger than Netflix, but I definitely think. Yeah. I could see it on Netflix for sure. Kevin Sampson co-signing. All right, cool. Well, let's give him a round of applause. Great job, guys.